Hi everyone. I will be taking you through the presentation on decentralized wastewater treatment, a paradigm shift. What we'll be talking in this presentation is the concept, the principle, and the scale of intervention of the decentralized wastewater treatment, its importance in citywide water and sanitation. As we are saying that we need to have a sustainable wastewater management approach. What does that mean? We mean that the wastewater treatment approach should be such that it covers the entire sanitation value chain and not only concentrate on single or selected areas or segments of the service provision process. Secondly, when we say that the approach should be sustainable, it is that it should reflect the community and ecological needs of each downstream ecosystem and user. Now, need for a paradigm shift. If you look at this picture, what we see? We see that in an urban setting, there is a mix of different settlements. You have high rise, you have informal settlements, and you have the new settlements in place. And for all these three different settlements, you have different wastewater management approach. Some is dependent on the sewer network, while as the informal settlement, is dependent on the on-site sanitation. And what about the new settlement? Is it dependent on the sewer? May or may not. Or is it dependent on the on-site sanitation? To cater to the different settlements in an urban settings, we have come up, or we will be talking about the new sustainable nature-based approach, which is called the decentralized wastewater treatment. Now, what is it all about? It is defined as the collection, treatment, disposal, or reuse of wastewater at or near the point of waste generation. That is, treating the waste at the source itself. It includes systems that trace wastewater from individual homes, clusters, isolated communities, industries, institutions. And what is the principle on which it is based? It is based on the principle that is devolving level of the application so that the wastewater can be treated at affordable cost, one. Second, cutting the cost of pumping long distance and promoting local reuse of treated wastewater. Now, the scale of the decentralized wastewater treatment system is that it can happen at individual level, neighborhood, zone, or city. By that, we mean it can be implemented in the informal settlements, residential areas, institutional area, commercial, recreational areas, industries, right? And that is, it can happen in the public toilets, hospitals, residential areas, even single homes, markets, offices, schools, and colleges. According to the UTPFI guidelines of India, these different land use have some open area, which is called the setback area, if we talk about institutions, where a decentralized wastewater treatment system can be implemented. So we have the land. It is how we strategically plan for such type of systems to be implemented on site. So the scale of the intervention is ranging from individual to neighborhood to city or zonal. The area which we are talking about ranges from 1,000 square meter to 15,000 square meter. The population which it can cater to is from 5 to 5,000. The wastewater generation which it can treat per day is from zero point 0.5 to 500 kiloliter. And so this approach depends upon the area, the size, and the density of the population. It will depend on the level of economic development. It will also depend upon the technical capacity and the system of governance in place, which we'll be talking in the last module, and the quality required for end use. Because we are saying that this decentralized wastewater management will help in the reusing of the treated wastewater. So the quality required for end use, is it for non-potable purpose, say for agriculture use, or is it for cooling purpose, of if we are talking about industries, or are we using it for portable use for drinking purpose? Then the level of the decentralized treatment will be higher. Now, talking about the characteristics and advantages of decentralized wastewater treatment system, it reduces the length of the pipeline because the wastewater is being treated on site. There is no need of conveying wastewater to far distance. Thus, the sewer networks that are shorter in length and smaller in diameter, which is called the simplified sewer. It requires basic skills to operate and maintain. Even if an unskilled laborer is being sensitized and trained properly, he can do the operation and maintenance. It reduces the carbon footprint because less or no energy is required, and also no addition of expensive chemicals or additives is involved. Safe reuse of treated wastewater, especially for non-potable end users. It's cost efficient, does not require sophisticated or costly maintenance. It's adaptive in nature to varying organic load and climatic condition. It's suitable for organic wastewater flow from 1 to 1000 meter cube per day. It meets the discharge standards and environmental laws. It follows the circular economy of treating and reusing of wastewater and promoting resource recovery of the nutrients like nitrogen and phosphorus for the use as soil conditioner in agriculture sector. It does not cause any noise pollution, bad odor to the surrounding, or problem with regard to mosquito breeding. It's site specific and flexible in nature according to the characteristics of wastewater. It promotes a kind of public private partnership. The ULBs or the local authorities have to provide lesser capital outlay, including low operation and maintenance that is taken care by the public. So the benefits of decentralized wastewater treatment system is that it is caters to the social, economic, and environmental perspective in all. By saying that, what we mean is that it helps one in improving the livelihood, especially for the people living in the lower settlements. Second, it helps in providing the public health safeguard by reducing the level of pollution of the water bodies or contamination of the groundwater. It's time efficient because less than a year is required to plan and implement a DVAT system. Informed choice, that is, all the stakeholders are involved in the implementation, decision making of the DVAT system, and it's also cost effective in nature. Over here, we'll talk about the journey of wastewater reuse and decentralized wastewater management with regard to India. many guidelines, missions, and uh, have been talking about the concept of the wastewater reuse and the decentralized wastewater management. It goes back from 1950 with the Water Act, the Environmental Act, talking about the water body pollution. Then, if we talk between 2000 and 2011, you see the one marked in blue indicate the intervention made by different organizations through different guidelines, be it government, be it NGOs, which took over the promotion and dissemination of decentralized wastewater management. However, the concept of decentralized wastewater management was being coined by the Consortium for DVAD's Dissemination, that is CDD Society, established in partner with BODA. After that, there have at a government and non-government level, many interventions have been made with regard to the dissemination and promotion of decentralized wastewater management. For example, in 2009, the Ministry of Housing, Urban Affairs established three centers of excellence, CSC being one of them, with regard to the promotion of sustainable water and wastewater management. It was during this time that a documentary on Clean Your Act came, which was being uh, made by CSC. And also, if you see that during 2004, the technology, the soil biotechnology, which is a decentralized technology and will be discussed in Module 3, was being developed by IIT Bombay, which is now IIT Mumbai. And also one more technology, that is Phytored, was being developed by CSIR Meere. Right? Then in the period from 2012 to 2016, you can see there are the number of the blue marks are more. So all interventions have been made with regard to the decentralized wastewater management. The CPHU EEO, which is the technical wing of the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, came up with a manual on sewerage and sewage treatment, emphasizing having a chapter and emphasizing on decentralized wastewater management. Even CSC came up with a manual, a toolkit on decentralized wastewater management. Various missions like Smart City Mission, Hriday, Swachh Bharat Mission, Namami Gange have talked about and are talking about the decentralized approach. Then, from 2017 to 2020, through various policy papers and practitioner guides, CSC has promoted the concept of decentralized wastewater management. There has been the national policy on fecal sludge and septage management, which promotes decentralized wastewater management. In 2019, the Jal Shakti mission came, which emphasized on recycle and reuse of wastewater, and even the the Jal Jeevan mission, which is more rural in nature, has promoted the concept of decentralized wastewater management. So, showing this entire journey is to highlight that there has been interventions time to time with regard to the concept, the intervention of the decentralized wastewater management, but to scale up, it has to be scaled up to the next level, right? And even in between, the concept of the wastewater reuse has been promoted, and many states in India are taking this initiative of reusing the wastewater as a resource to the next level. Now, decentralized wastewater treatment is said to be a missing link in the sanitation sector. By that, it means that it is a linkage, a bridge between the on-site and the off-site sanitation. Right? The decentralized approach is applicable to address the issue of environmental pollution caused by the effluent coming from the on-site sanitation systems. The concept of septage management that sets out interlinked steps that are vital to manage septage and effluent from generation to disposal also recognize decentralized wastewater management as one of the solutions for effluent management. See, if you see at this picture, if you take a household from where black water and grey water is being generated, and if this house is dependent on on-site sanitation, which we discussed in the previous module, the black water will go into a septic tank. Septic tank is the terminology is used, and the concept of septic tank is prevalent in Asian countries. However, if we talk about African countries, it's the pit latrine, right? So it goes into the septic tank. What comes out of the septic tank is the septage, the slurry part, and it is being treated into the fecal sludge, FSTP, fecal sludge treatment plants. The effluent from this septic tank, if you don't have a decentralized wastewater treatment system, it will go to a soak pit. If you have a decentralized treatment system, it will go to it. From there, the effluent is being treated and it's used for irrigation or horticulture purpose. What about the grey water? The grey water, because it comes from kitchen, from laundry, it may have oil and grease in it. It should ideally pass through a grease trap. Then if you don't have a decentralized wastewater treatment system in place right now, it will go into the soak pit, and from there it will percolate into the ground water. If you have a decentralized wastewater treatment system, then it will go into it, and then the treated waste water is used for horticulture purpose as a soil conditioner. If you look at the decision matrix with regard to sanitation system, over here we have tried to come out where a decentralized treatment system can be implemented. Say it is high population density more than 300. If it is not, and the household, does it have a septic tank? Yes, it does. If it has a septic tank, ideally, then the septage should go into the fecal sludge treatment system, right? If it is in place. If it is not, if there is a wastewater treatment system with spare capacity, it should go over there. Even if it does not have, then you have to upgrade the containment system and implement the fecal sludge management approach and grey water management with decentralized wastewater treatment system. If we are talking about an area which does not even have a septic tank, then we need to look that is land available for individual septic tank. If there is no land available, then we need to come up with community septic tank which are linked to decentralized wastewater treatment system at community level, so that we can cater to the wastewater of that area. If we are talking about a population density more than 300 per hectare, and the water consumption is more than 100 LPCD, and there is a wastewater treatment system in place, with spare capacity, then we lay the sewer lines to the existing wastewater treatment system. However, if the water consumption is not more than 100 LPCD and it's less than 50 LPCD, then we need to upgrade the containment system and implement the fecal sludge management approach along with the grey water management with the implementation of a decentralized wastewater treatment system. I would request you to go through this decision matrix to understand where does your region or your city or your area lie and what would be the possible intervention which can be made, keeping in mind the groundwater table, keeping in mind if we have the septic tank in place, keeping in mind the septic tank, the excreta from the septic tank is being treated in the fecal sludge treatment plant, right? So please go through this matrix, and if you have any queries, you can get back to us. So the choice, if you see this matrix, it shows that you can have both the centralized and the decentralized approach, but it will depend upon a number of factors. Important that full consideration should be given to both options and then come up with a solution. And whichever approach is preferred, there needs to be an emphasis on continued management aspect. No system has the capability to be fit and forget. You need to have a system in place which is sustainable in nature, and there is a need of appropriately trained staff and capacity with regard to financial, technical in place, right? Now, DWAT, the decentralized wastewater management approach, talks beyond toilet. So, ODF means we have the toilet in place, there is no open defecation happening. ODF plus means that all toilets connected to disposal systems, safe collection, conveyance, and treatment. But ODF plus talks about the all toilets connected to the disposal system, safe collection, conveyance, treatment, including the treatment of the effluent. So, decentralized wastewater management is the approach which talks beyond toilets, and it is the era where we are talking about ODF plus plus. If I take the example of India, we say that we are ODF country, and now in order to make it sustainable, we are approaching towards ODF plus plus. Decentralized wastewater management not only comes into picture of sanitation, but also as an integral part of water sensitive urban design and planning. What is that? It is the integrated design of the urban water cycle, incorporating water supply, wastewater and stormwater and groundwater management, along with urban design and environmental protection. So it is a more holistic urban water management system in place, where we say that the rainwater will help in managing the demand to meet the water demand. Wastewater will help in managing and reuse for non-potable purpose, and stormwater managed through surface water bodies plus optimal stormwater channel, right? So WSUDP approach happens at different scale, one individual, second neighborhood, and city level. So at all these three levels, the decentralized wastewater management is an integral part of the water sensitive urban design and planning. Then comes the city sanitation plan. What is a city sanitation plan? It is a living document, right? It is a vision document where we would want our city to be. So it is a planning tool which carries out the sectorial assessment of sanitation with the five main components, that is access to toilet, wastewater management, stormwater management, water supply, and solid waste management, in order to identify gaps and opportunities and strategize the technical and financial planning to achieve citywide sanitation in a time-bound manner. And when we talk about the wastewater management in the city sanitation plan, it promotes a sustainable, the decentralized wastewater management, right? Also, when we talk about the Sustainable Development Goal, which were being coined in 2015 by the UN General Assembly, aiming at the blueprint to end poverty, protect our planet, and ensuring prosperity, it comprises of 17 sustainable development goals, which all are interconnected. However, the SDG 6 talks about clean water and sanitation, and the targets, that is, it has the SDG 6 has 6 targets in place. However, target 6.2 and 6.3 focuses on having the decentralized wastewater management in place so as to attain sanitation and hygiene and wastewater and water quality for one and all. So, if I summarize this whole presentation, it is the process of decentralized wastewater management furnishes the recycle and reuse of wastewater, a process of treating wastewater as a resource rather than a liability. So let us all work towards a sustainable wastewater management system in place, which is an alternative approach and work, and this approach will work parallelly with the existing conventional centralized system, so that we cater to the larger population, and we not only help in the reducing the pollution of water bodies, but it but coming up with this decentralized approach will also help in augmenting our water resource, right? So it's a win-win situation with regard to water and sanitation approach. If you have any queries with regard to this uh, presentation, please write in the open discussion forum. Thank you all for listening to me.